It isn't difficult to turn on the ship, but you do need to make sure that you have everything turned on that needs to be on. So, in the control room, you need to make sure you have all computers on, which includes the computers that we actually work on, the flight director and the second chair computer, as well as all the video computers. You also need to make sure you have all the sound equipment on, and you need to turn on the lights. On the bridge, you need to make sure all of the computers are up, the TVs are on, that there are uniforms laid out nicely on all of the chairs, and that everything looks clean and is ready for the crew. Alright, you have just shown up to fly your mission and you need to get the ship turned on and started. So we're going to start here in the control room. First off, let's get the computers turned on. We'll turn on the flight director computer, the second chair computer. Then we have the video computers, so we need to turn that on. Over here it's just this little button. Then we also have up top here, this is in the Columbia, we have the computer screens computer, which should normally be turned on, and you'll see in another video how to get that turned on if it's not on. This is the security camera computer, which you're going to learn more about in another video. So just make sure to turn it on when you turn on the ship. After we get those screens on, we need to get all the sound stuff turned on. So first here up top, we have the sound computer. Now right now it's on, but if it's off, the on button is just right there. Then we have the speakers so we can hear what's happening on the bridge. So we have just back here, you flip that switch, lights on. Next we have the voice changer, come turn it on. And then we have the soundboard down here. Now the soundboard has two switches in the back right here. You need to make sure that they're both on. Alright, if they're not both on, then you're going to have problems. So make sure they're both on. Now up here is, if the amp is not on, you need to turn the amp on just right here. The other thing that you need to get on, you need to turn on the lights, obviously. So hopefully you already did that. But in here we have the red rope lights and the blue rope lights. Right now both of them are on. During the mission we just want blue lights to start off. But while you're setting things up, if you need more, just turn those on. We have the rope lights in here, that's the brig lights. Then we don't need the strobe machines on or the rotating lights, but we do need to turn on the smoke machine so that it can start charging up. So let's go back on to the bridge. So now that we are up here on the bridge, we need to start getting computers on. Now to get the computers on, you have to take off the black plastic. I've already taken one off here so you can see it easily, but you just need to locate the power button. There are some different computers, so the power buttons are in different spots. And just turn that on. We come over here, let me show you to take off the black plastic. There's just a Velcro right here, and so you can easily just peel it off, stick your hand down. Sorry, I know you're just seeing blackness. And turn on these computers. Now it takes a minute, you can see they're starting to load up, and you would go around and turn on all of the computers. The other things you need to do is you need to turn on the front TV. Now, depending on the ship, they put the remotes in different locations. Over here we have, this is the remote for the TV, and here right now it's sitting on the printer. Could be on the ship, sometimes it is in the control room. You just hit the power button to turn on this front TV. It just takes a second to turn on. To get the computer started up, find on the controls there's this Enterprise Final. That's what it's called. You double click on that. Then it comes up with these screens. You pick Exported. And then when you scroll down, here are all of the various controls that you can choose from. So you need to know which station goes on which computer. If you're not sure, there should be a bridge map in the control room that shows you where it is. But you just come, this one, for example, is the security scanners. We get that pulled up, and you'll see we have here the IP address. This is the IP address of the control room, which if you're not sure what it is, go check in there. But then over here you'll see a list of all the computers that have started connecting. So you'll be able to tell as you're turning things on if everything is connecting properly. Now, if you're ever having to do this during a mission, like a computer goes down, you can automatically start it up by clicking on this continue to login screen, and it will automatically pull up the controls. If, though, you're just starting up the whole ship and you want all of them to turn on at the same time, once you get them all turned on, you're going to go back to the control room. Come over here to the core computer. Now, right now we only have a couple computers pulled up, but you'll see all of them on there if they're all networking right. And you just click this Start Ship button, and you can see it turns on all of the computer screens. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to get Tactical started up. Now, if you come here, usually you'll just see the desktop, right? There should be a folder called Tacticals. Just open that up. And then you have your 5-hour flights, generic, all of that. You just need to figure out what you're flying. If you're doing a private flight, if you already know what mission you're flying, you can just pick it. So, for example, we're flying Titan. Comes here, you go to the next card just by hitting the next arrow, and it should come up with the main view screen. Just move the mouse off. All right, now the other things you want to do is, if you have everything turned on, check to make sure like the microphone is working. So here I have the microphone. Test, test. You can hear my voice, so the microphone is working. And other than that, all you need to do is go back to the bridge. Now usually we'd have all of the computers on and everything. Just need to go around, make sure that there's nothing random on the bridge. For example, they're doing some construction stuff right now, so there are things on the bridge you wouldn't want if we were actually flying the mission. You also want to make sure that there are chairs on the bridge for the crew members, that each chair has a uniform, that the uniforms look nice. The mice and keyboards are nice and straight. Basically, you just want things looking presentable. And then here in the Columbia, they also have a sick bay. So just come and do a double check, make sure there's nothing crazy going on in here. But after that, you should be good to fly. So I know it's really blurry right now. Sorry about that. Once you have the ship up and running, then the crew should be able to come in and fly, and you're good to go.